if you want to see how we have gone from having this bathroom over 30 years ago with a pretty old and outdated look. This one here is much more modern and beautiful, and all the reforms we made ourselves. Don't miss the next video.
Today, in the centers of DIY, you can buy almost anything at home.
With a little effort.
And Manya, can you reform yourself?
Same bathroom as your home. Here we went shopping.
PVC tiles for
walls of a concrete brand. So we headed to the dealer from our area.
And for the ground.
We shop in a famous shopping mall. Obviously, we start by laying the ground.
The first thing is to take it off.
Things that are going to get in our way, so we had to take him off. Old wash basins and the cup. The silicone that glued the marble piece was super attached to the wall and impossible to remove with a scraper. I even tried a hammer and there was no way. The solution is to use multi-tool and blade-type blades. We took the old sink to the green spot of the city and moved on. We leveled the ground, since by removing the old furniture, there was a part of the floor that wasn't laid. The pallet thing they made us.
The reform when we didn't live here yet.
So although bricklaying isn't my thing, it was relatively easy.
The next thing was to take him off.
Toilet, we emptied it. The tank, and we took it apart. The fastening screws were rusty. But it turns out it was impossible to take it off because, as I said before, the paddles that put us on the ground above low, they did it without taking it off. Not the toilet or the old furniture.
And he had stayed.
Glue with cement, tale that I know.
He used it to place the tiles. After so much rolling, it's time to start laying the ground. We first made a presentation of the pieces to see how to place them well along or wide. He convinced us more along the corridor, that is, along the corridor. Then, to start hitting them, we got a lot of doubts. And it's that, reading the manufacturer's instructions, we don't really know how it was made.
So, we decided to tell you about it on YouTube.
In most videos, they explain that you have to find the center of the room where you will put it and start from there. But in our case, we can use the hallway wall as a guide, since it was quite straight and also matched this corner with the width of the pieces. Coincidence? So we decided to start with this wall as a guide. So before putting them in and out of the room, the hallway was cleaned and a mop with cleaning vinegar was given. The placement will be wall to wall without leaving any separation.
Once the first one is placed.
Piece. Next one's gonna be mata juntas.
What do you mean, half the other piece?
We thought it was the best way to then glue the pieces that go in parallel. And the one that looked the best aesthetically. So I don't have to be measuring every time I had to put a piece in half. I made a template that's nothing more than a piece split by the exact half to serve as a guide. Here we see how we put it, and with the rack, we equalize the pressure in the piece, so everything sticks together well. And that the pieces, though relatively easy to make with scissors, it gets very entertaining to make it look good, because there are many measures to be taken. Present the piece without, in taking off the paper. And when we're safe, we hit them.
we already have placed all over the floor. Bathroom, as you can see, it makes an effect, followed by the hallway without separations.
So now we're going to get started
With the pieces of the wall.
Venga, que hay que bajarse esto para abajo. Va. Venga, fuera. Venga. We were just like the floor tiles. In theory, the center of the wall should be marked.
And from there, go.
Placing,
I don't like it.
since we were both going to have parts
Sides and how the walls were.
relatively straight, we've decided to put a masterpiece starting at the bottom of A.
The left, which is the one that's going to guide the whole process.
In order to make them look better, we choose several shades of tiles to mix them. We have several open boxes to alternate pieces. So we start with the first piece.
As it is whole, it has no further complications.
We glue the holes he takes for it.
And we put it in, putting it right on the ground.
And the left wall,
Same as we started laying the ground. As we will place it too.
we're gonna make a kill squad.
Another template, just like the floor.
And we already have the exact half of a tile.
Here we can see what the template is for. One thing to note is that given their thickness, once they are broken, we will pass a wooden file through the side to smooth the cut piece and fit well with the next one. To make holes in the lucky pieces, there are several ways. But let's say it's working.
Just like if it was wood.
I'm gonna use it here. This crown drill.
We keep putting pieces in and...
We got this one on the shower plate.
Stop.
Cut it out. I made a template with the cardboard.
Old tile box.
I'll cut the piece with a grinder. I start with the fine saw to cut curves. We change the saw and put it in a straight line and cut it. To see the whole process of putting a piece, here I teach you. We measure, mark, cut some sand, put glue, peel off the paper, and stick the piece together. And then we stick it all over the wall. Here we see a common mistake in placing. That is, I didn't support the tile well and it was loose. If we realize it and don't tighten it, we can rectify it. If we've tightened too much, it will be hard to get it out without breaking it. We've already done this part of the wall, and now we're going to start with this one here, but first we're going to remove the radiator.
If you want to see the full video where I'll explain step by step how remove and reposition radiator with a fun addition with memes, I left a label and description here. From the video I leave the link.
Once we are done putting the pieces in, we reinstall the radiator. Now let's put the tap where we're going to plug in the latiguilo for the toilet tank.
And because of the thickness of the PV tiles,
We see it's hidden with what we're going to use this one.
Extender.
Are we gonna put so much Teflon in the faucet? Like in the extender and we put it in.
We open the box.
toilet.
We see the components from the tank coming.
Instructions for placement.
The lid.
The cup.
The drain elbow.
Tank cap. Toilet cover.
And finally the tank.
For those who have never installed a toilet, here's how the drain fits into the toilet.
And now we take action with the wall to cut the bar that is making a header.
I'm wearing a plaque that can screw it to the wall.
But I didn't put it on. We mark the center of the cup with the center of the hole, where our biological remains will go, and now we mark the boundary of the cup on the ground, so that the drill and the clamping angle can be placed.
Once you've done this,
Let's go ride the tank.
And that's because at least in this model of toilet that leaves no hole, you have to put it in the back before you put the cup.
in my case, I sealed it.
Hole since the tube. Plastic where the waste comes down.
I'm broken in the...
And it would generate odors due to the poorly sealed.
Once the tank is assembled, water and soap are used to lubricate the drain and make it easier to place. We put the latiguilo on and turn on the water.
Inside with the cup.
We got the tank full. Let's try.
No water loss is seen.
We screw the cup and put the lid that is drop buffered. And we'll keep putting pieces in until we finish all 4 walls. Is it a good time to take a look at the bathroom? As we can see, the tiles fit great. So, changing colors, they look very beautiful. We see the part of the toilet that has been very well, the toilet. Here's the radiator you've seen before. And this part of here,
I want to teach her to do.
see? That I always glued the piece to the left.
In this way,
There are gaps on the right.
and the next wall,
It will cover the remaining gaps, so that the left will always be filled with the right gaps. And the next wall will cover the gaps left on the right. We're going to continue with the mirror furniture wall, and we're going to change the shower faucet as well. This is to explain that when we have to put one piece, they always start out prettier than others. So for example, I have to make this part 75, because I will put this part and discard it. Why? Because in my opinion, this one with these imitation wood waters is a little more beautiful, and this part is a little lighter. When we removed the mirror, we ran out of light. But we put these LED boards in, they illuminate us very well. And they carry this handy tripod bracket to support them on it. Now let's change this rather faint looking shower faucet. We're headed to a center.
DIY change faucet.
And there were enough models to choose from.
Many were very similar, but we liked this one in particular.
Since it had a style that once installed would look great. So we bought it, and we're going to see its installation.
Ahora sí.
Once the faucet was installed, we kept putting pieces in and got to the plug. There are videos where they don't take it off and just edge it, but it would have been a little hidden and we didn't like it, so we decided to take it out. It is relatively simple, placing a few longer clamping screws.
We've already placed all the wall pieces.
And now we're going to give
with silicone insertant.
As they are finishes behind the door shower area, that water can always fall. And some area of tiles where there's been some more loosening left for corrections. We unpacked the furniture, which fortunately has been assembled, and you just have to put the shooters a little more. Although I ended up having to cut the drawer to fit the drain hole. And in the drain holes I had to do a splicing, is these drain holes to connect to the faucet. Longer 50 cm, I haven't found them. We'll put the faucet and splice the drain and the drain. Above all, attention should be paid to installing the valve with the drain.
Since that's where we can lose something?
Finally, we glued the tile to the furniture with these stickers. When we have it,
We stuck it to the wall.
and off camera we fixed it to the wall with some pads so you can remove it when needed. When we go drilling, to place the towel mirror, etc., we'll use two types of drills, the first wooden one to mark, and then the other one for tiles. But like I don't, specific tiles I've used. This one is concrete that has worked very well. The mirror installation I couldn't record because I couldn't fix the camera to teach it, but it was relatively simple. Two alcayatas are placed on the level as I do here, hanging from the holding point of the mirror and then installing the light on. In the meantime, we've seen the installation of the towel rack.
And the roller coaster?
Paper.
We put the step keys in, as I also had to change them because of the thickness of the PVC. Well, we've got everything. We'll see the final result. If you liked the video,
I hope you give me the one I like.
as you can see, we have not finished putting the floor in the kitchen, where we have more complex parts such as corner tables and removable closets. Because these are areas that will be moved, we must provide solutions to prevent wear and tear.
so I'll upload a more detailed video later explaining how we put vinyl flooring in these solutions, as well as the finishes that have not been seen in this video. So if you are not subscribed, it is a good time to subscribe and not miss anything. You can ask me any questions in the comments, and I usually respond quickly. One greeting, and see you next.